Okay, so from the little bit of chit chat we've all had, I would like our theme to be today. Sometimes I theme classes and sometimes I don't. But I think our theme today, I would like to do a little bit of mobility, a little bit of like really lovely deep core support stuff, and then of course mid back and whatnot as well. If you have a blanket, you're welcome to use it whenever it is you're watching this. I like to keep a blanket and a pillow handy because you never know when you're going to want that bit of support. Just gonna pull my mat out. So we're actually gonna start standing today. I love that we're on Zoom because it like accommodates my camera better so I can stand and you can see me. So we're standing upright just so that you have some mat in front of you. As you inhale, you can reach those arms up overhead and then nod your chin and just sort of slowly dive down in space. You can bend through your knees, melting, 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 melting. Maybe give your head a gentle yes, a gentle no. And of course, if it feels most reasonable to only come halfway, you only have to come halfway, like really accommodate the experience or customize it to what you need. Take one more breath in here as you breathe out. Press your feet through the floor. Start to scoop and roll your spine and really take your time. Be super delicious here. Stacking those vertebrae one at a time until you're up nice and tall. You can circle those arms. Again, inhaling to reach them up. And then as you exhale, nodding and diving. And we're trying to like, as you're curling forward, the forward parts go forward and the parts that are back go back. So you're creating this like big fascial stretch through the body. Bending and melting, bending and melting. Inhaling at the bottom, and then as you breathe out, pressing through those feet. And then same thing on the way up. So the parts that are stacking are trying to get back, but the parts that are hanging forward are trying to reach forward. So you're making like the biggest rainbow shape possible through your body. Rolling it up, give those shoulders a nice circle. And then one more time. Oh, it feels so good. Inhale it up. And then same thing, the parts that are diving forward, let them really try to reach. It's like you're going up and over a beach ball, but then the parts that are back are trying to scoot back too. So they're having a little like conversation with each other with resistance. We're going to walk the hands forward. We're going to step the right foot forward, lower the left knee down. Take your right foot, walk it out so it's about mat distance wide. And then you're going to turn the toes out towards 10 o'clock. We're going to hug the legs towards each other, so not sitting in a stretch. We're actively drawing in, fire the glutes. Peel the big toe edge of the foot off of the floor so that you're going to that pinky toe edge and you're externally rotated. And then hug those legs in as much as you can. Open the thigh as much as feels good and fire into those muscles. Now your hands can stay down on the floor, or if you'd like to add a twist here, big spiral through the body. Hug those legs in towards each other. Keep nice and active. You can tuck or untuck that back foot, but glutes are on, quads are on, rotation is happening for 3, for 2, for 1. Bring it down, turn your right toes forward, stick your bum out, take a bit of a stretch here. Breathing it in, breathing it out. Bring yourself forward in space, turn those toes out towards 2 o'clock, open the thighs out, and then again, maybe you add some rotation, maybe you don't. However, non-negotiable, we're squeezing through the glutes, we're hugging the legs in, we're externally rotating, we're zipped through that belly, we're pushing the floor away as we rotate, and you're holding maximum amount of tension here. For 4, for 3, you could also be hands on the floor. Yeah, that might feel nicer for your back. Last 1, plant the foot, turn the toes forward, stick your bum out for a bit of a stretch. Breathing it in here and out. And then last 1. So my hope here for us, whichever version of this you're deciding for yourself, is that it's giving us an opportunity to sort of address all of the intersections of muscles, ligaments, fibers, fascia around our pelvic bowl. So if you're having low back pain, if you're having tight hip flexors, if like the sides of your hips are kind of bothering you, my hope is that being really active here in this mobilizer is going to relieve any sort of discomfort for you, or maybe not relieve, but maybe help relieve it a little bit. Maximum tension, last breath, and then turn the toes down. They come forward, stick your bum out, take your little hamstring stretch here. Breathing it in, breathing it out. And then this is going to be kind of funky. You're going to tuck your toes. You're going to plant your hands down. You're going to lift your back thigh maybe. You're going to step back and just walk yourself back into that forward fold. It got a little yoga-ish for a minute. And if you're completely like, that's not happening in my body, please just arrive back in a forward fold, however makes sense to you. And then I'm going to turn around on my mat so you can see my left leg, but you should be fine where you are. Walk your hands forward, take your left foot forward, back right knee finds the floor. Let's walk that left foot a little bit wider, turn the toes out to 10 o'clock, and then peel the big toe edge off of the floor. So you're towards your pinky toe edge, opening out through that thigh, maybe tuck or untuck the back toes, whatever feels good. And then we're trying to turn on as much musculature as possible, yeah? So I genuinely mean it. Fire up through those glutes, rotate out through the thighs, press the floor away. Maybe reach up through the left arm if that feels good, or keep your hands down, yeah? Whatever's gonna make the most sense. We're here, we're active, we're squeezing, you're rotating only as much as works for you. Lengthening as much as feels good for you for 4. No hands, yeah? For 3, you could use a hand here, but I would like us to not. Last one, lower down, turn your toes forward, send your bum back. So I know we've done a fair few of these together, but I really think it's important when we're looking at finding more space in the body to find a way to do that with strength. Walking it forward, turn those toes out to 10. Let's go for round 2. And the reason for that is because, if we haven't talked about it before, is because if you have muscles, ligaments, tissues that are pulled longer than they have the support for, that can also cause discomfort the same way as something that feels tight, right? Because it's like trying and trying and trying to get some kind of traction. Keep hugging those muscles, keep firing them, keep rotating if that feels good, pressing the floor away, maybe reaching your top arm, or maybe staying long from head to tail. For 2, for 1, turn the toes, send your bum back, little hamstring moment here. And so if you have something that's been pulled long, and it doesn't have the support, so then it pulls tight, and then you try to pull it long again. It just becomes a bit of a vicious cycle. All right, last one. Bringing it forward, turn the toes out, externally rotate. You know what to do. Watching to make sure we're not sitting in that back hip. Yeah, that glute is on. Our goal here is to be as active as possible with the musculature of our legs. A fun play with the tuck versus untuck is just how it targets your piriformis. An untucked toe kind of maybe finds it a little bit more. We're here for 4. Keep breathing, keep rotating for 3. Keep growing, keep lengthening. 2. Last one, turn it down, send your bum back. Little hamstring moment there. And then this one's gonna be a bit different. We're gonna come forward, charge up that back leg, and then maybe step it forward. So now you're in your forward fold, melted forward. Press through your feet, start to roll your spine all the way up. Nice big roll. I'm hoping that found a little more space for us. So we're gonna do a little bit of standing work together today to start. I'm gonna lift my camera like just a smidgen. Smidgery schmooze. There we go. Hopefully that helps a little bit. I know it's not perfectly level, but I can't do anything about that today. So left foot is gonna come forward, right leg is gonna come back. We're gonna hug those legs together. We're gonna bend in through the knees. And I just want you to notice if your pelvis is kind of pitching back, can you make it really nice and strong underneath you? Hands can come wherever you want them to be for now. We're gonna nice and calmly start to bend. Now, as you bend low towards the floor, notice if that right hip wants to start to slide down. We're gonna try to keep the hips as level as possible. We're gonna hug those legs together. We're gonna go down, and then we're gonna stand. But when I come to standing, I'm only coming as high as I can keep that pelvis stacked, which means my legs might not straighten. We're gonna slowly lower, squeeze and draw up. Slowly lower down, squeeze and draw up. Am I regretting going for a run yesterday now that we're doing this? Yes, maybe a little bit. Good. Let's go for 5. But that's okay. 4. Hugging in, maybe feeling a bit of a stretch through that front hip now, yeah? 3. For 2. Last one, we're gonna do little pulses up and down for 10. For 9. For 8. Arms can be 7 wherever you'd like them to be. 6, they can be forward. 5, they can be together. 4, 3, 2, keep squeezing those glutes. 1, step it forward. Whoo, shake it out. Let's go to the other side. This time, right foot forward, left leg back. So I'm going to be just sort of switching around on my mat so you can always see me. Finding a nice sensor, and then notice if my leg is straight, my pelvis, these are my hip bones, they're tipped forward. So I have to bend just a little bit to get upright. Nice and slowly starting to bend down. So I can just feel that glute being active, hugging the legs together. Hips are level right this time. We want to make sure the left hip doesn't slip down. It's nice and active here. Taking your breath in, and then as you breathe out, standing up to only wait what makes sense for you. Okay, here we go. Lowering it down, you're hugging in nice and active, and then standing. So my hope is for us is that looking at it, it doesn't look like too terrible, right? It's like, okay, pretty simple. We bend and then we lower. But we are energetically hugging those legs in, firing through the glutes, so that back quad gets so much work. Whew, can you hear my breath going already? Down. Those arms can be wherever you'd like to be. Let's go for 5. Let's go for 4. Movement can be so hard for 3, but I'm right here with you. Getting into the front of that thigh, especially if you've had a day of meetings and busyness and sitting. Last one, little pulses up and down. For 10, for 9, squeeze those glutes. For 8, hug the legs in. For 7, maybe it's burning. For 6, you got it. 5, all together. For 4, we're building strength around the hips. 3, around the pelvis. For 2, last one, step it forward. Give it a little shake. Woo! Okay, it's getting spicy. It's happening. Lunchtime Pilates. Left foot forward. Left foot forward, right leg back. We're going to add on to this. So hands are going to come across our chest like you're doing, giving yourself a little cross-body hug. We're going to keep hugging those legs in. Find that place where you get a nice tall pelvis. And then this time as you bend, you're going to ever so slightly hinge. Bend and hinge, and then squeeze that back bum cheek more to come upright. Hug the legs in, lean it back. Now notice I'm not super opening through my chest. I'm trying to keep pretty contained. Hug that glute and then press it up. Whew, we've got 4 more. Hug it in and hinge, hug it and hinge, hug it and hinge, squeeze and bring it up. 3 more. Staying super duper active here. Again, there's an opening through the hip. We're working through the quads. We're also strengthening around the side of the pelvis into that glute. For 2. 1 more time. And we're going to hold this one. 8, 7, 6. Squeeze those glutes. 5. Hinge it deep. 4. You've got it. 3, 2, 1. Stand up. Step it forward. Give it a shake. The deep, hard breath is real. I'm not making that up for you. Okay. It's a lot of work for the legs. Second side. Whatever way you crossed your hands on the first side, opposite way this side. Yeah, so usually the way that feels uncomfortable. Find the space that allows you to stack your pelvis up nice and tall. Hug those legs in. And then here we go. We hug in. We hinge. Try not to let the back heel slip forward too much. Feel like that heel is radiating back a little bit. 2, for 1. Oh, I can tell this is my tighter side, my tighter hip. Hug in. Hinge it out. Try to keep those hips level. Up tall. As you bend, negotiating, right? We're not super curled in. We're not lengthened back. We're right in the center of our bodies. 4 more. Beautiful work here, team. Beautiful work here, team. Keep pressing up through that back heel. Fire that glute. We've got 3. Keeping the pelvis balanced, finding that back quad. For 2, that front leg, really just a courtesy as a kickstand. Really focus your attention on that back leg. All right, are you ready? Last one, here we go. Hinge it down. We're here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand it up. Give it a little, maybe go for a little walk. Give it a little shake. Okay, last little bit of business. If you have light hand weights at home, you're welcome to use them. We're going to bend our knees, set ourselves up so you're nice and parallel. Yeah, I'm going to turn sideways to you though. Parallel, sticking out through the bum, drawing that rib cage in. Think plank here through the torso. We're going to bring our hands down beside our hips. I'm just going to move mine out of the way for now so you can see me, but otherwise your hands are beside your hips. We're going to take the back leg or the right leg back and tap the toes and then pull it in. Left toes back, pull it in, right toes back. So the toes are just tapping back behind you, yeah? And we're switching side to side every single time. You're staying nice and pitched over the legs and the body, so you have this diagonal. Your arms are reaching, they're back in, reaching and back in. So we're just sort of starting to get those shoulders nice and warmed up here. And again, if you have light hand weights, or you could even hold a band in between your arms, yeah? If you have one at home, keep moving. You could also, if you have your towel and you want to hold that in your hands or your blanket, you're welcome to do that too, yeah? Reach it back. And reach. And reach. Noticing that over time, it's really the stabilizing that starts to kick in. So your mid back, maybe a little bit of low back for that low ab support. Watching and noticing if you're squeezing your shoulder blades up to your earlobes. As you reach your arms, we want to feel like we're showing off our armpits to the floor. Back strength here, yes? And lift. Let's go for 4. And 4. 3, watch that the rib cage isn't collapsing down to the floor. For 2, you kind of want to feel like you're doing a plank. Last one. Last one, you're gonna hold those legs down with your arms. If you'd like to, you can just move them down and lift. And down and lift. Good, keep going. I'm gonna talk some anatomy. So as you're lifting and lowering your arms, you are stabilizing along the top of your pelvis, right? Your transversus abdominis, your deepest layer of core that goes from right up at your breastbone down to your pubic bone, all the way around, stabilizing. You have your multifidus, you have your QL, all of that big, beautiful stuff, and all the small spinal muscles holding you up in space. And also your rib cage is in. And also your scapula, your shoulder is upwardly rotating and downwardly rotating. For 3, so if you're feeling stuff, that's okay. For 2, last one, maybe your arms are forward, maybe they're high, maybe they're down. We're just gonna pulse into those legs. 10, 9, 8, 7, maybe no arms. 6, you've got it. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, stand it up tall. Good work, give it a little shake. We're going to come all the way down onto our backs, please. Gonna spin around. And then we're gonna lie all the way down. Ah, sweet, sweet ground, yes? So we're gonna start off by working in neutral, as we pretty much always do. So you can take a big breath in to be here, please. And exhale it out. Letting those feet be heavy on the floor. You can reach those arms up to the ceiling if you'd like. Turn them on nice and strong. Letting your pelvis be have that little natural lumbar curve. And then mobilizing as much as works for you. You're gonna start to scoop through that low belly, press into the floor, fire your glutes to lift your hips up one vertebrae at a time. At the top, taking that breath in, and then from the top, roll and articulate ourselves down. So sort of like we did when we were standing, right? How we were talking about the front vertebrae going forwards, the back body parts going back. We want to really, really feel the vertebrae like little stamps stamping the floor all the way up and all the way down. Now I am going to let you know this is going to build to be a little bit Spice-orama. So being where you need to be at all times is the most important thing, yeah? With whatever feels good for you. All right, one more time. We're gonna roll up through that pelvis. We're gonna pause at the top. Now our goal here is gonna be to keep our hips nice and stable. We're gonna lift our heels to hover and then pop them back down. Lift our heels to hover and then pop them back down. Okay, little bits of housekeeping. As you're lifting and lowering your heels, notice if your body weight is dumping back. Can you keep pulling yourself forward? And holy moly, check how that changes your hamstring and your calf connection, yeah? So keep pulling yourself forward even as your heels lift off of the floor, keeping that body nice and engaged. You got it here, team, for 4, for 3, so exciting, 2, last one, lift and hold it. Now you're gonna keep those heels hovered, not in their highest half toe. Let's think like 2/3 of the way. Now you're gonna keep your legs still. We're gonna spiral the right side of the pelvis down towards the right and then squeeze back up. Left side of the pelvis around to the left, squeeze it to center. Right side around to the right, squeeze it up. Left side around to the left, squeeze and lift. And I'm hoping sooner rather than later, we start to feel those backs of the legs really speaking to us. To the right, lift it up. To the left, lift and squeeze. And as you're moving here, those heels are hovered, those legs are active. You're pulling your glutes down towards your heels. Your rib cage is on. We're feeling all the excitement. Rotate and up. And your thighs are not wobbling side to side. To the left, we're mobilizing this pelvis to feel what it feels like to be actively centered. One more time. To the top, hold it here, little hip pulses up. Drop an inch and then lift. Drop an inch and then lift. Drop an inch and then lift. Your heels are still hovered. You're still pulling your tail down towards your toes. You got it for 4, for 3, for 2. Last one, and then roll it down, lower your heels. Let's walk those feet south of us and just go for a little windshield wiper. So at any time with your pelvis upright like that, if you're feeling like this feels really not great on my back, please feel free to keep your pelvis low, right? I can only demo so much at one time. But so know that even if we're up doing stuff, you can stay low and still get a great experience. Okie dokie, let's keep our hands down for now. Palms can face down, trying to watch to make sure your shoulders aren't curling on the mat. Feet are planted. Nice neutral pelvis, hip bones, pubic bone level. You're gonna take a breath in, she says, laughing, knowing how fun this is gonna be. From your neutral, can you lift your right leg up to a tabletop? And notice and make sure if your hips do anything funky, that you align them back towards neutral. And then maybe the left leg lifts, maybe it lowers a little bit, but it definitely doesn't pass the bent knee, yeah? I'm gonna pull mine back into a tabletop. You can be where you wanna be. Okay, hands are down. You're gonna take a breath in. As you breathe out, you're gonna roll. You're gonna scoop through your pelvis and lift your ribs up. Holy moly, off of one leg. And if you have an extended leg, you have an extended leg. Make sure those hips are still level. Take your breath in. And then as you breathe out, roll yourself all the way back down. Inhale. As you breathe out, scoop through that belly, press through that right foot, lift yourself up and out. Taking your breath in. And then as you breathe out, you lower down. Now, if rolling isn't an option, you can lift straight up, or you can lift into a little baby hover, yeah? So again, picking a range that feels best for you. You could also, if you were feeling really spicy, lift your right heel to hover off of the floor as well. But non-negotiable is what's happening through our pelvis. So that's what you're always checking in on. Let's go for 2. You could also lift your hands off of the floor, your arms off of the floor, up towards the ceiling if you'd like to. One more time. Exhale. Okay, you're gonna take that left leg. If it's reasonable, you're gonna reach your toes up towards the ceiling. You're gonna keep them there, and we're gonna do little pulses as if we could poke the ceiling with our toes. 10, 9, maybe your heel is hovered. 8, 7, hips are level. For 6, oh, it's so hard when you do that. For 4, you could always ditch the pointed toe. For 2, last one, place the left foot down, come all the way down. Give yourself a little wiggle, and then reestablish that neutral and lift that leg back up to a tabletop. We're gonna take our hands behind our head. We're gonna breathe in. And then as we breathe out, we're gonna curl up to an ab curl. So you could always omit the ab curl at any time here. Check back in with the pelvis. You're curled up, so take a little cheeky peek. And then we're gonna hold it here. So you could always be down if you want to. Let's flex those left toes up towards the ceiling. Let's take a breath in. As you breathe out, you're gonna tap that left heel down a little bit. Inhale to bring it in, and then exhale to tap it down. Now I'm placing a hand on the floor for myself because my pelvis can't stay balanced. I'm really trying to work on evening out the strength of my obliques. So if you're also finding like your pelvis just keeps swiveling, feel free to do that. Exhaling it down. Inhaling it up. Subtle but deep, yeah? Let's go for 3. Keeping that right foot planted on the floor. Let's go for 2. One more time. Exhaling to tap. Pull that leg up, hold it there. Inhale, your torso is gonna go back in space a little bit. Exhale, change your mind. Exhale, curl it up. Inhale to lengthen back before you take a full break. Exhale, not to crawl. And so for these first few, you're just sort of figuring out where your tension is originating from. And if it's originating a ton from your neck and shoulders, play with your arm placement, your hand placement behind your head, so you can find somewhere that really lets that head be soft. Yeah, I don't want us to feel too intense in the neck. As you're curling up, notice if that pelvis is shifting and shimmying at all. We're gonna go for 2. Your inhale is not a break, it's just lengthening the torso tension. Okay, so before when you were moving your left leg, you were exhaling. Now you're gonna inhale. So as you inhale, take those 2 moving parts away from each other, and then exhale, curl them in. You're still neutral. Inhale to take them away from each other, change your mind, exhale, pull them in. If you're feeling really excitable here, you can lift your right heel and just sort of press the pad of your foot or your toes into the floor to give you a little bit of extra leverage, yeah? So it's not pushing there to take away, it's adding. And my hope is pubic bone to belly button, that fleshy low belly space, we can feel lots of goodness there. Let's go for 3. Let's go for 2. Exhaling it in. One more time. You're going to exhale. You're going to hold it. Now, can you look? Pubic bone to belly button. Take your breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to scoop your low back into an imprint if that's reasonable for you. Maybe keep the right foot down. Maybe pull the right leg in. You're in a tabletop. Inhale back. Exhale into your oblique twist. Again, inhale back, same side. Exhale, oblique twist. You can also totally keep those right toes down if you would like to. You can play with your arms. Maybe you want to reach up and over. We're going to go for 3. We're going to go for 2. Still keeping that pelvis nice and balanced in your imprint. Last one. You're going to hold your imprint. 1 leg or 2 legs. You're going to inhale to reach away. And then exhale to squeeze it in. Inhale to reach away. Exhale to squeeze. Maybe you have both legs going here. I'm going to do 1 leg. Inhale to reach. Exhale to squeeze. You're here for 2. Last one. Draw it in. Keep as much tension as you can. Maybe take those legs out to hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down, take a break. Maybe give those legs a little windshield wiper. Breathing it in. Big breath into the belly and then exhale it out. My legs are literally like, good job. We're going to do it all again. I'm going to flip over onto my other side. I'm going to grab a quick sip of water. You're welcome to do the same, but you should be happy. Not you should be happy. That's not what I meant. You should be good where you are. Hopefully. I just switching so you can see. I'm killing time by talking because my whole body is shaking. Okay. Here we go on the other side. So setting yourself up in your neutral, we have the hamstring part first. Remember, you don't have to lift your hips all the way up. They can just hover off of the floor because that's excellent work as well. You could also think more scoopy imprinty, truly whatever's going to feel good for you. Pressing your left foot down, keeping hip bones and pubic bone level. You're going to take your breath in. And then as you breathe out, we're going to lift that right leg up to our tabletop. Hands can stay down if you'd like to. Maybe reach the right leg long, but definitely don't let that thigh pass the left thigh. Taking your breath in. As you breathe out, can we scoop the low back in through the imprint, and then we lift our hips up. Now being really mindful that they stay super level. Take your breath in, and then as you breathe out, roll it all the way down, trying to keep the pelvis completely balanced. Breathe it in. Hard to do when you're only on 1 leg. As you breathe out, scoop, press, lift it up. Inhaling to be here. As you breathe out, so fun. And it's not easy rolling down, yeah? Not easy rolling up. Breathe in, keeping nice and stable through those hips. As you breathe out, right through the center line of the body, lifting it up. Maybe your leg is long, longer lever, it's a little bit spicier. Breathe in. As you breathe out, I'm gonna pull my leg into table because that's where I need to be. 2 more, breathe in. Now again, as you breathe out, maybe you just lift to a little hover. Maybe you add a little extension. Maybe you lower back down. Yeah, like so many ways you can play here. Please feel free to like freestyle it a little bit if what I'm demonstrating and offering today isn't working for you. All right, we're holding here. If you're extending that right leg, whatever height you're at, it's going up towards the ceiling. And then we're gonna lift our hips up as if we could poke the ceiling with our toes. For 10, for 9, non-negotiable, 8. That pelvis has to stay balanced. For 3, 2. Last one, remember maybe your left heel could have been hovered. It's up to you. Pull the leg in, place it down, start to roll, and then release. Give yourself a little windshield wiper, a little low back release, and then we're coming back into that neutral. Hip bones, pubic bone level. Taking your breath in, and then when you're ready, without disturbing the balance of your pelvis, lifting that right leg up to a tabletop. So again, there's hopefully a little bit of a natural curve at your low back, not so far that your hip bones are really far up toward the ceiling, but sort of as contained together as they can be. Let's flex those right toes up towards the ceiling, 90 degrees with those legs. Hands can come behind your head, taking your breath in. And then as you breathe out, you can nod and curl. And so just sort of taking stock for yourself, right? If being in an ab curl and holding here doesn't feel fabulous, you can always come down, taking your breath in. And then as you breathe out, sending that leg away. Inhale, now notice I'm keeping it bent through the whole duration of the movement, exhaling it down. So it's really the thigh. I guess if I move this leg out of the way, exhale, you may be able to see a bit longer. Inhale in and exhale. Good. Perks of teaching online, right? Like there's only so many things we can see and do. So picking whatever version makes the most sense for you. We're here for 4. Inhaling up and in. We're here for 3. Ooh, someone in my house is making soup. I can smell it. Let's go for 2. Across that low belly. Last one. Bringing that leg up to table. You're going to hold that leg at table. Inhale, take your torso back. And then exhale, curl it up. Inhaling it back. Exhaling to curl. Inhaling back. Exhale, curl. We're here for 4. We're here for 3. We're here for 2. We're still neutral. Last one, we're going to curl it up. Now we're going to add the leg and the abs together, remembering that this time we're moving the leg on the inhale, tricky to stabilize. So as you inhale, leg moves away, torso goes back. Keep thinking about pubic bone to belly button, and then exhale, pull it in. And can you pull it in without your low back imprinting to the floor? Inhale to take the shapes away, and then exhale to curl them in. Inhaling. So lots of work here to balance that pelvis. Again, if you need an arm, feel free to add an arm. There is hip flexion happening here. If that's too much load, you can always turn that leg out a little bit. You could always hang the leg. Trying to think of other options. You could ditch the leg altogether. Exhaling. One more time. Inhale away. Exhale it in. Now holding here, take that breath in. Look down, belly button to pubic bone. As you breathe out, can you scoop into that imprint, maybe lifting your left heel off the floor. Inhale to take your torso back, hold that leg. Exhale, curl up, oblique twist. To the right, inhale back. Exhale, left armpit reaches out and over to the right. Inhaling it back, exhaling to curl. And then as you're doing this, as the left heel is hovered, you're pressing the left foot into the floor. And my hope is that's giving you leverage so you can imprint a little bit more and maybe curl up a little bit more intensively. Still staying mindful of that pelvis, making sure that it's not collapsing in space, making sure that it's not rocking and rolling side to side, that the hips aren't doing funky things. Yeah, ooh, that felt kind of good. Maybe we'll do some hip circles after this. Exhaling it up. Arms can reach wherever you want. Let's go for 2. Last one, you're going to curl up. Now, option to scoop even deeper and lift that left leg up to a tabletop. Or you can keep that left leg down. You're going to inhale to reach away. Keep holding your ab curl. Exhale to squeeze. Inhale to reach away. Lower back just a little bit. Exhale, curl up and in and squeeze. Maybe you have 2 legs working here. Maybe you have 1 leg, whatever's going to allow you the most accessible option. Let's go for 3. Let's go for 2. Anyone else feeling Spice-O-Rama? Last one. Curl it in, pause. Maybe your legs are table. Maybe they're reaching out and away. Wherever you are, you're going to hold tension. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Woo. Let's flip over onto hands and knees. This is maybe going to look kind of funny. So let's not worry about how we look. And we're just going to sort of release that pelvis. So you're just going to like circle it out and around. Circle it the other way. We're going to be moving into some upper body extension stuff from here. So if you're feeling a little tight in the hip flexors, we're going to get there. Or we're going to get there to open it, I should say. Okay. I'm going to flip over and we're going to lie all the way down. Feels good, yeah? You can maybe give your hips a little wiggle here. We're going to stay up in this sort of sphinxy type shape. Hands are going to come forward. Our toes are going to stay down, and my legs are about hip distance apart. They're parallel. So this might feel like a lot of load on the low back. Please feel free to like not be here if that's the case, yeah? So right now you are letting your hip bones fall into the mat, which usually I talk about not doing. Today we will. You're going to feel like you're pretty lazy here. And then as you breathe out, you're going to press into the floor, tuck your chin to your chest, draw your ribs in, squeeze your glutes, and maybe lift your hips up a little bit. And now I'm trying to really round into my low back. I gently release it out. Let my chest come forward, maybe get kind of lazy, take a breath in here. And then as I breathe out, I become more active. I press down, I nod my chin in, I fire my glutes, and I'm trying to round pubic bone to belly button, which won't happen because structurally that's not how those bones work. But I'm hoping you experience a bit of a shake there. We're also working into the upper body now. 2 more, so not doesn't look super comfortable, but I'm just sort of hanging out. And then I press, I tuck, and I'm still pressing myself away from the floor as I scoop in round. Gently allow the spine back down. One more time. Press, nod, scoop, glutes, lift and squeeze. And then if you'd like to, you can always tuck those toes, lengthen out, find a plank for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently lower down, slide your hands back, press yourself up and back. And take a shell stretch. You can open the knees wide, toes stay together. Take a breath in here. Take your breath out. And then let's walk those hands forward. Let's come all the way back down onto the belly. So your right hand is going to come beside you, down by your right hip. If you can, maybe squeeze those legs together, as long as now we are going to scoop towards that pubic bone. So that amount of work you just felt when we were lifting up, if you can try and find that here. Pressing your toenails into the floor, zipping up through those thighs, drawing your rib cage in, right hand is down. So left fingertips are going to be glued to your forehead. We're going to take a breath in here, breathe it in. And then as we breathe out, shoulder blades on the back, draw the rib cage in, lengthen out and up. From this right arm, you can keep your palm facing in beside you. You're going to inhale, open it out so your thumb is facing down to the floor, and then squeeze it in. Now, if you have light hand weights at home, great time to use them. Inhale to open it out, and then exhale to squeeze. Inhale to open, exhale to squeeze. If the back of your head, your neck, your chest is not loving this, you can always place that left hand down to help prop you up. We're moving into a little bit more for that mid back, those posture muscles, opening up through the chest, exhaling to squeeze. Let's go for 4. Let's go for 3. Let's go for 2. Squeeze it in. Last one. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. You're going to take that arm, open it out beside you, Flip the palm to face the floor. You're gonna lower it down to tap the floor and then lift it up. So it's staying beside you now as you're doing those little liftaroos. And as you're lifting up off of the floor, can you imagine that middle part of your scapula squeezing in behind you? You're here for 4. Trying not to get into the top of the shoulder. For 3, channel low mid-back. For 2, last 1, lower down to take a little break. Oh, you can let one cheek touch the mat. You can let those shoulders melt forward. You can take a little shell stretch if you'd like. So again, we're strengthening into those back posterior muscles. Okay. I'm really excited for the next one. I think you're gonna love it. So start with that hand beside your hip, looking down to the floor. Toenails pressing, quads active, pelvis scooping, glutes on. Taking your breath in as you breathe out, shoulder blades on your back, lengthen out and up, holding onto those arm muscles so you're back in that hover. And we're making sure that we're not pushing. If I push my rib cage into the floor, that's what it sounds like when I talk. So if I think about zipping them in, I can still breathe. Yeah, I'm breathing sideways and backwards, but I'm not squishing my diaphragm. So that's my hope for you. If you're feeling your low back, you can open those legs a bit wider, externally rotate, and also experiment with your torso height, right? You can come down. You can also place your hands down. We're going to take that active right arm, open it out beside you, and then keep bringing it overhead until like you're doing the YMCA. And from here, we're going to rotate so that the thumb is up and the pinky finger is down. We're going to lower pinky finger edge of the floor to the floor and then lead from underneath the armpit, underneath where your tricep is, the like fleshy part. You're going to lift up. Inhale down. Exhale to lift. Inhale down. Exhale to lift. Watching here what happens to your hips. Making sure first that you don't collapse your hip bones to the floor. Lift it up. Rib cage in. We're going for 4. We're going for 3. We're almost done. 2. Lift it up. You got it. Last 1. Lift up. Flip your palm to face the floor. Flip your palm so now your thumb is down. Your pinky finger is up. Squeeze that hand. Rotate the arm beside you so your palm faces up. Super squeeze your right tricep. Pulse that arm. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Take a little shell stretch if you want it. And then we'll meet back down here. Last thing for this side, we're going to bring ourselves up. We're going to go into those side push-ups. So you can always start upright in space. Right hand is on the floor. You're turned sideways. Left hand can be around that waist. We're going to bend. And then we're going to push. You can always support yourself with that opposite arm. You can always come all the way down and all the way up. Let's go for 4. Let's go for 3. For 2. Legs are just sort of stacked, however feels good. Last one. Press it up. Come all the way up. So much good work for that mid-back, the shoulders. Let's inhale. We can cross our legs. Let's inhale and exhale. Just take a side bend over to the left. Giving that right side a big stretch. And then all the way up. All right, we're gonna do it all again. Second side, you've got this. I'm gonna flip over on my mat so you can see me. You're welcome to go back down however you were before. Left hand is now down beside the left hip. You can squeeze those legs together. You can open them and turn them out if that feels happier for your back. I'm just gonna shift my microphone a little bit and hope that it doesn't move the computer. There we go. I can't believe we've been doing these online classes for almost a year. When did we start them? April maybe? April or May? Wild. So legs are down, squeezing or not. Right hand fingertips to forehead. When you're ready, legs are active, glutes are active, scooping to that pubic bone as you inhale, shoulder blades on the back, and then exhale to lift. Right hand can always come down. You're gonna inhale, open that arm out beside you, thumb is facing down to the floor, and then exhale to squeeze. Inhale to open, exhale to squeeze. Well, actual Pilates we started together in office in January. So yeah, it's almost been a year for that. And then most of those classes I think will have been online now. So serious kudos to you for wanting to keep this practice up. I love being here. I love working with you. So I appreciate it for sure. But how cool is that? Time flies. Squeeze. Let's go for 3. Arm hugs in. Let's go for 2. Long from head to tail. Legs are active. Toes are pressing down. Last one. Hold that arm out beside you. Palm faces down. Lower the palm. It just taps the floor and then lift up. Lower down and then lift. I almost mixed up palm and tap. Like I was thinking it too fast. So I almost said Pam. And I've also been watching a lot of The Office recently. Lift it up. And we want to try, as you're lifting and lowering, to send the experience away from the upper trapezius levator scap and more into like the middle of your mid back or like lower part of your mid back. If you're feeling your low back tense, again, open your legs out. You could always lower your head down and lift without your head being up, yeah? We're here for 3. We're here for 2. Last one. Lower down. If you'd like to press back, take a shell stretch or let your cheek touch the mat. You totally can. And then when you're ready, coming all the way back down. Same setup, sort of jumping right into it, making sure those hip bones aren't pressing into the floor, feeling that big scoopity scoop. Right fingers underneath the forehead, left hand beside your hips. Inhale, shoulder blades on your back. Exhale to lift out and up. Maybe your hand stays down. Open that left arm out beside you. Rotate the palm down to the floor and then reach it up into that upper left corner. Rotate your arm so the thumb faces the ceiling. Inhale, lower pinky finger edge, and then exhale, lift up from the thumb. Lower it down, and then exhale to lift. And even though, yes, it's the upper fibers that are for sure working, I want you to feel like the energy of lifting is happening from underneath you. So it's like someone's literally come and picked up your arm from underneath as opposed to pulling it. Does that make sense? So it's like you're being pushed up as opposed to super grippy up. I want to make sure you can still hear me. So I'm going to keep my right hand down. Yeah. But be where you need to be. Let's go for 3. Let's go for 2. You've got it. Last one. Rotate palm to floor. Rotate so that that thumb is down, pinky finger up. Squeeze that arm all the way back beside you. Take it and rotate so that palm faces up. Squeeze it, squeeze it. Can we do little pulses here? Up and up and up and up. For 10, for 9, for 8, for 7, for 6, for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2. Last one, lower it down. All right, let's press ourselves up. Let's find that one arm push-up on the second side. This is our grand finale here, team. So left hand is gonna come down. Legs are stacked however feels good. Right arm can wrap around the waist. Shoulders wide. As you inhale, we tip. And then exhale, we push. You can always sort of come onto that bottom arm as well, and then push all the way up from there. Good. Lengthen it down. Press it up. Let's go for 6. Let's go for 5. Strong through that arm. For 4. Last little business here today. For 3. Press it up. You've got it. For 2. One more. Time. All the way up. Come all the way up. Nice job. Let's crisscross those legs. Right hand will come down. Inhale your left arm up. So we did all that mobilizing at the beginning together through the pelvis, through the hips, through the thoracic. So very gentle, little finish here. We're going to take the right hand over to the left knee, left hand behind the left hip, sitting up nice and tall. Through that belly, rotating around to face the left. Inhaling here and exhaling. Breathing it in and out. And then around through center to the right, left hand to right knee, right hand behind the right hip, sitting up nice and tall, scooping through that belly. Breathing in and out here. And then bringing yourself back to center. Let's cross that right arm over the chest. So again, all that mobilizing, active mobilizing at the beginning. Switch your arms. We worked through the legs, so we had those like up and down squats, some extension through the arm. We worked through that whole mid-back chain, in through our abs when we were working into the those one leg lifts with the pelvic stability and the hamstrings and the glutes. And then that whole mid-back chain. Inhale, reach your arms up. So you worked super stinking hard today as per usual. Exhale to squeeze. Thank you so much for being here whenever it is you get to this class. And I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day.
Thank you, Dom.
Oh, you're welcome, Miranda. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.